Hi students, I'm Dr. Jensen and I'm really excited to have you in my Bio 100 online class. I'm just going to take a few minutes to explain to you the structure of this course and why we teach it the way we do. So hopefully feel free to review this video as many times as you need to, but hopefully this will help you navigate this class more successfully. So I want to first start with my instructional strategy. So this class is taught using a constructivist strategy. And what that means is constructivism is a theory about how students learn. And it's based on the idea that you have things already in your head. You have preconceptions about biology and about this topic that are not easy to dislodge or manipulate. And so just lecturing at you about a topic is not very effective. And the way that I like to illustrate this is to have you write in a mirror. So if you have a second and you have like a little compact or whatever, I'd like you to try to write your name so that it appears appropriately in a mirror. So once you pause this video and see if you can write your name on a piece of paper so that it appears correctly in the mirror, like you see in this picture. Okay, so hopefully you had a chance to do that. Was it hard? I'll bet it was very difficult. And I often ask students, why is that so hard? I mean, we're intelligent people. Why can't we just write in a mirror? And then I ask, well, what if I'd shown you this first? If I'd given you a PowerPoint on how to properly write in a mirror, where vertical positions are opposite, but horizontal positions are not reversed, so your name should appear like this, would that have helped? Now, initially you might have thought, oh yeah, of course that would have helped. I doubt it. You should try it again. Now that you know this, I guarantee you will make mistakes again. And the reason is that you've already learned to write appropriately. And so when I ask you to do it in a way where the feedback that you're getting does not match what's already in your brain, it makes it much more difficult and even frustrating to learn. But by doing it and receiving that feedback that's different from what you would expect, that allows you to change the conception in your mind. Because there are people that work very effectively in mirrors, like dentists. So there is a way to reteach yourself, but it's more difficult than when you learned it the first time. So there's these two ideas of learning. It's called equilibration theory, where you sort of come to an understanding in your brain. And the idea is that there's two ways to learn. One is assimilation. So assimilation is when you have no previous knowledge of this, so you're incorporating new information, and it's relatively easy. And I say relatively because anything that you learn that's new is difficult, but it's relatively easy because you're not rewriting something that's already there. Whereas accommodation is when there's something already there and you're having to get feedback that goes up against something that you already thought you knew. You experience what we call cognitive conflict, and then you have to choose to accommodate what you have in your brain to get this new information in. So raise your hand if you think you have any preconceptions about biology that might need to be tweaked. I think we all do. I mean, if you've ever been outside, you've got conceptions about biology that may be not quite accurate. And so the way that we teach this class is we challenge you to think. We challenge you to consider what you already understand, and then to consider the evidence that I'm going to show you and make sure it meshes so that we can get accommodation if we actually need it. And so it might be a little frustrating at first where you think, gosh, just tell me the answers. But by telling you the answers, it's just going to go in one ear and out the other, so to speak. So that's the way that we teach the class. And we actually use a method called the 5E learning cycle. All right, so this is basic course structure. Okay, so the learning cycle has 5 steps. You engage the student in whatever you're going to talk about. Then you have students explore the topics. So that's a way for us to draw out those preconceptions that you might have, to help you draw them out so that you can see where you're right and where you might need to tweak things. And then we'll do some explaining. So we'll make sure everybody gets on the same page. And then it's important to elaborate. And that's because we found in educational research that knowledge is often very contextualized. So for instance, if you learned about genetics, but you learned about it with a fruit fly, then in your mind, genetics is only connected to fruit flies, but it doesn't work for dogs, cats, humans, and that's obviously wrong. And so it's important to take what you learned in that given situation with the example that we use to teach it and take it into new situations to elaborate upon it so that it's decontextualized. And then the last step, obviously, is evaluation, because what is education without testing? But there's actually a lot of benefit to testing, to pulling things out of your memory. It's called the testing effect. Well known and well established that this helps in solidifying that information for you. So we can kind of divide those into two main portions of learning. One is content attainment, where you're exploring and building and creating these concepts. And then the second is concept application, where you're decontextualizing it and making sure it's broadly applicable in your roundhouse. And so we are doing this through several different ways. So your engage, explore, and explain will happen during a lecture video. Now you might be thinking, wait, it's a lecture. Yes, it's a lecture, but it's very constructivist in the way that they teach it. We'll give you a scenario, we'll walk you through it, we'll have you think about it, and then explain the information. So the lecture videos are almost entirely done by two of my great colleagues, Dr. Heath Ogden and Dr. Emily Holt. And so you'll see them in the lecture videos and not me, but we worked on the curriculum together, so it's all a joint effort. So you'll watch a little lecture video, and then right after that, there will be a little quiz that'll pop up that'll say, did you watch the video? We have no way of recording video watching. Is that a word? Anyway, and so we're going to ask you just to be honest and click yes, we watched the video. But then you're going to take a video quiz. This is just a real basic quiz to make sure you gleaned from the video what you should have. And what we want you to do is we actually want you to get 100%, but we want you to take that first attempt of the video, of the quiz, closed book, closed note, don't look at anything, just give it a try and see how well you gain the information. And then once you've taken it once, then you can go back and rewatch the video, you can look things up on Google, whatever you need to do, you can take it as many times as you want until you get 100%. But that first time through, I'd strongly encourage you to test yourself and see how much you're getting out of the video. Once you've done the content attainment, then there will be a second part to the learning, and this is your homework assignment. So the homework assignment is where you're going to elaborate and take it into different arenas so we can decontextualize the information. These are rather challenging, but we have created these really helpful tutorials to help you navigate your way through these. And so you'll answer some questions, you'll try it on your own, and then a little tutorial will pop up and you can watch, and that's where you'll see me and two of my great students, Josh and Claire, which I'll introduce to you in just a moment, who have created tutorials for you. And you'll go through the homework assignment gradually. It'll have you answer the question again once you understand the concept, and you'll get through that. Now, anything you don't understand, please feel free to go see a TA if you need any help. The TAs will hold virtual office hours, so if you're not on campus, we'll hold regular office hours. If you are on campus, you can come to my office hours and get help on the homework. Now, just a little hint, the exams are very much like the homework assignments. They are application-based, applying the material outside what you learned it in class. So I would strongly encourage you to make sure you have a solid understanding of that homework assignment. And then, of course, your evaluation happens in the video quiz and then again in the assessments that we'll talk about in a minute. But before I do that, I do want to introduce you to the two faces behind the voices you will hear in the tutorials. So some of them will be me and you'll see me, but we also have Josh Payne and Clara Smith, two brilliant students that have worked in my lab and with me in designing curriculum for a very long time. So just I wanted to put a face to those voices you're going to hear. All right, so looking at the course, again, you're going to do content attainment, concept application. And we've kind of broken the course up into days, so to speak, almost like it's a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class. But you'll see where the deadlines are. I'll show it to you in a minute. So it's not exactly like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class, but the days you can think of as just sort of modules, each module of the class. So you'll complete the lecture video, the little quiz, then the homework assignment for each day. You'll do that day 1, day 2, day 3, and then by the end of the week, you'll participate in this discussion board. It's asynchronous, so you don't have to be there during the time that other students are there. But what you're going to do is you're going to go through the expected learning outcomes that I'll show you in a minute. And you're going to go on to the discussion board, and I'll show you where that is in Canvas, and you're going to post 3 potential exam questions. Now, after you take the first exam, you'll get a better idea of what my exam questions look like. But they should be application-based. They should be just like the learning outcomes. So you'll post 3 of those by Wednesday night at midnight. And then you'll have Thursday and Friday to answer your classmates' questions, okay? So you have to answer the questions, and we're going to break you up into groups. So you'll have your group of people, and you'll answer questions posted by that following Friday. And then on Friday or I guess Saturday at 12:01 a.m., some instructor questions will post. And these instructor questions will be authentic questions from exams that would be like the exams that will post so you can practice and make sure that you're getting it. And it'll pop up with the answers right after so you can make sure that you understand it, and you just go right back in and put in the right answers so you get 100%. And so I'll show you where those are as well. So you'll do that for 1 week and maybe another week. Most units are 2 weeks long. There are a couple that are 1 week long. They're on the schedule, but most of them are 2 weeks long. And then at the end of that, there will be a unit exam. It's due by Sunday night at midnight. And that's when these units end. They're on a Sunday night at midnight. Okay, so let's say you go in and take a unit exam. This is another thing that we do to help you succeed. So you go and you take the unit exams, and the unit exams, by the way, are open book and they're open note. They're not open friend, but they're open book and open note. You'll take them right online, so you don't have to go to a testing center or anything, but they are timed for 1 hour. So we encourage you to prepare so that you don't have to look everything up or you won't finish in time. And you're just going to go in, you're going to take the exam in the 1 hour before Sunday night at midnight. Now let's say you take the exam, you get an 88%, which is a great score, but maybe it's not as high as you wanted it to be. We would strongly encourage you to go see a TA during their virtual office hours or in person. And by going and seeing a TA or me and reviewing the questions that you missed, we will give you 1 question back. Now the exams are only 17, 18, 19 questions. So 1 question back is actually quite a big percentage jump. So that would change your score to a 94%. So you just have to do that by the end of the next unit to get your question back on the exam. Okay, so here's the schedule. It is posted on Canvas, and I'll show you where. You can see most units are 2 weeks. The first unit, because the add drop deadline falls somewhere in the middle there, we're just making everything due at the end of the second week for that first unit. So you'll do a discussion board, you'll take a unit exam. You can see the next week is the next unit is 2 weeks. So you'll do 2 discussion boards, and then you'll take that unit exam. Same thing with the following, but some of them, like you can see that this one is only 1 week, so there's only 1 discussion board, etc., down to the end where you take the final exam. Again, it's proctored all online. You don't ever have to be on campus or anything like that. Okay, so this is the breakdown of the class, the point breakdown. So you can see here's our concept attainments, our concept applications, that's the lecture videos and quizzes. Concept application is your homework assignments, discussion board, unit exams, final exam. We will occasionally throw at you some research surveys. There's a couple at the beginning you'll need to take right away because this is an active improvement. We're trying to improve the BYU online experience and the Bio 100 class in particular. So we're constantly gathering a little bit of data about student satisfaction and performance. All right, so if you look at the breakdowns, you can see that the majority of the points do come from assessments. So 30% of them come from the 8 unit exams that you'll take, 20% from the final, and then the rest of it is listed there. So just make sure you're participating in everything though, because it's always so sad at the end of the semester when a student has done fairly well on unit exams and the final, but they just didn't keep up on the homework, and it makes all the difference in the world. It's only 10, 15%, but it makes all the difference in the world. So make sure you're doing all the things you're supposed to. So I'd now like to show you around the Canvas site. So I pulled up one of the BYU online classes. This section number might not match yours, but they all look the same. I'm looking at it from the instructor view, so it looks almost exactly the same, but things are open for me so I can look at them. All right, so the first thing you're gonna see is in the important information, this is your best friend. You should explore this particular module and download all of it. First of all, let me just back up for just a minute. The breadcrumbs that happen up here, they're cool, but they can lead you astray. So if you will always just navigate to the home page, always go back to the home page. If you're looking for anything, go to the home page. Don't ever click on anything that's not on the home page because it will take you funny places in Canvas. All right, so I'm on the home page. The very first module is what we call these. The very first module has a bunch of important information. So one of the things is your expected learning outcomes. If you click on that, this has all of the learning outcomes for every single module of the class. Okay, and you'll notice that they are more higher level learning outcomes. Looking at day 11, for instance, with natural selection, predict an outcome of natural selection given a set of circumstances. Okay, so it's not just what is natural selection, it's using natural selection to predict some kind of outcome or to hypothesize a potential cause of a change in a population. or apply a natural selection explanation to an authentic situation. Okay, so these are all your learning outcomes. This is what your exam questions will look like. They're perfectly aligned. So again, here we go. I'm not going to try to click on the breadcrumbs. I'm just going to go back to home every time. This is the schedule, so it's what I showed you in the video already, but you can download this and get it into your calendar. This is the schedule of due dates. Okay, back to the home page. TA bios, this is where you can find information about your TAs. You actually have 3 TAs, so Josh and Clara that you've already been introduced to, and then we've got another grading TA, and her bio is on there, so you can go ahead and take a look. This is video lecture access. If for whatever reason it's not working in there, you can go directly to YouTube. I don't think you'll ever have to use this, but just in case. Office hours we use virtually, so I hold office hours. I'm here in my office. You can come and visit me if you are on campus, but if you're not, you're going to use the virtual office hours. Josh and Clara and Mahia will also use virtual office hours, but also in person if you want to visit with them. So you just click on this link and that'll take you there. There is a textbook. Some students want a textbook. I don't require a textbook, nor do I require any readings, but if I were to recommend a textbook, this particular textbook is one of my favorites, and it's very low cost, and it's an ebook, so you can click on that if you want that. This is a very helpful little video on how to study. If you're feeling like, gosh, I really am not doing as well as I would like, I would strongly recommend you watch this video. Dr. Chu is an educational psychologist that specializes in study strategies. Because we do gather research data during this class, there is a consent form, and you can get a copy of it here if you want it. You'll be filling this out on your first module. All right, so when you go in to complete something in the class, oh, and also, by the way, up here is the syllabus. So if you need any of this information, again, it is all here in the syllabus. All right, so if you're going to go in and do a module, so let's say we're on day 1, which is what you should complete right now. Day 1's going to be a little different. So let me show you day 1. This particular video is the video you're watching right now. How to study. This is a video that I've made on how I think you should study for this class. I think it's super helpful. Please, please watch this video before you come to me in an email saying, I'm not doing as well as I would like, what am I doing wrong? Please watch this video first so you know how I recommend that you study. And then once you've watched these 2 videos, the one you're watching now, and then this one, you're going to click on this Intro and Study Skills quiz. Okay, and it's just going to take you into a quiz. Now I'm going to click on Preview so it'll look like yours. Yours will have a little button that says Take the Quiz, and you're just going to answer the questions. Okay, and you can take it as many times as you'd like until you get 100%. But this is required for you to move on in the class. You have to watch those videos and answer those questions correctly. Okay, the other thing we need you to do right here at the beginning are the pre-assessments. They are due on the 20th at midnight. There's a scientific reasoning ability test that helps us sort of baseline the students in the class, and then some attitudinal questions just so we can gather data about improving this class. So please complete both of those. They are worth points. They will affect your grades. So make sure, but they're just for, obviously your opinion doesn't affect your grade, but doing them or not affects your grade. So please make sure you complete those as well. All right, so let's go to a normal day. So Unit 1 goes from January 7th to January 20th. Assignments are due on the 20th. Again, you can see that the prerequisite is the introductory module. So let's say you're ready to do Unit 1. You click on Day 2, and there's all the things you have to complete to do Day 2. So here's your video lecture, and you can see if you click on it, they're just little YouTube videos. The URL is right above them. You can also right-click on the video and copy the URL. So if you're having any technological difficulties with the embedded videos popping up, there's lots of ways to get to them other than just embedded. So you're going to watch the videos. It tells you what you should these are the learning outcomes. This is what you should have learned from the videos. Now, again, you can either go back to the home page, which is a great thing to do, but once you're in the module, kind of nice thing, you can just click on Next, and it will take you to the next thing. So here's did you watch the video? And this is what it looks like. It's super easy. Did you watch the video? Yes, I did. Submit the quiz. Okay, so that's the little quiz you're going to take. Oh, hey, I got it correct. All right, so then you go to the next thing. So now you've done the content attainment. You're going to take a little video quiz to see how much you learned. So again, you're going to take the first attempt closed book, and then you can take it as many times as you want till you get 100%. Okay, and then you're ready to apply this information. So now you're going to go on to the homework. All right, so the homework, you get 1 attempt to do it. Now you can open and close it as many times as you want, but once you push submit, then it's done. Now it'll show you your results so you can go back and study, but it won't let you do it over again. All right, so there's a little video you're gonna watch, and then it's gonna ask you to answer questions. So you'll type your little answers in there. Wow, that was interesting. And then it will go through a little video where I'll kind of explain what you should have learned from that question. And then I'll have you sort of restate, okay, now that I've learned it, what did I really think, okay? Anyway, so you'll answer these, watch the videos, etc., and then you'll submit your homework assignment. Yes, I know, I didn't complete it. Okay, and then it'll give you feedback directly. All right, and then next is going to take us to the next day. So that's all you had to do for that day. Okay, so going back to our home page, each day you're going to watch the video lecture, say that you watched the lecture, take a little quiz, and complete a homework assignment. So we'll do that for day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, and then that's the end of the unit. So now we have our unit exam. And so then you'll go in there and take the unit exam. Oh, but let me back up. You should, at the beginning of each unit, and I'll open this up here, at the beginning of each unit is the reminder that you need to post 3 questions by the Wednesday at 5 p.m. Oh, at 5 p.m. instead of midnight. We're trying to keep people from staying up all night. 5 p.m. And then you're going to answer the questions on Friday by 5 p.m. And then you're going to answer the instructor questions sometime before you take the unit exam. Okay, here is where you're going to access the discussion boards. I'm not exactly sure if this is going to work because I haven't set up the groups yet, but oh, kind of. Okay, so here's your discussion board. It tells you this is what the learning outcomes are for this unit, so this is what you should type your questions about. So you're just gonna type in my questions are blah blah, I can't even spell, okay? And you're gonna submit those, and then you'll go back to this discussion board and your friends will have posted questions and you can answer theirs just by replying to theirs. Okay, so don't forget to do those. Those are up at the beginning of each unit. You're gonna do the discussion board, and then here are the practice questions that we'll post in time for you to take them before the exam. Okay, and they look like a little quiz. So you want to make sure you go back in and put the right answers in to get 100% on that. All right, and then you'll take your unit exam. Again, it's timed, so it'll give you 1 hour to do it once you open it up, and it is due by midnight. And then you'll do that for each of the units all the way down. Okay, so that's Canvas. I think that is everything for the class. I'm super excited to have you in the class. I hope I get to meet you. Online classes are a little funny that way because I sometimes never meet my students, but feel free to stop by virtual office hours. If I forget to get onto virtual office hours, please shoot me an email. Sometimes my brain is just gone because I'm dealing with face-to-face students and I forget to open up Adobe. But I will be there for virtual office hours. You can certainly come walk through my door and introduce yourselves. And hopefully this will be a great semester. Okay, good luck.